Here's what's exciting about this moment. The survey says 9 out of 10 small businesses, just like all of you guys in this audience, are leveling the playing field with big enterprise companies like never before. So you guys are the little engines that could, and you should give yourself a hand. This is really happening. So I'm so pleased to welcome Bryon Wirtz, Government Sales Strategy Director for Intel, a Dell partner, and Sid Coelho-Prabhu, head of Coinbase Business for payment platform Coinbase. We're going to dig into the tech that's actually solving small business pain points and unlocking growth in practical terms. So thank you, and we're going to get right into it because I can talk fast because I'm a New Yorker. So we're going to start with you, Bryon. From the macro perspective, what tech trend would you say is fueling business success? So that would have been unthinkable for small businesses just 5 years ago. And I know those 2- and 3-part questions are annoying, but I'm going to try it. How Intel and Dell are, and Intel's a Dell partner, capitalizing on the trend and a resulting small business success story.
Sure, yeah. So Intel and Dell, I mean, as far as technology goes, I think everyone's heard this a lot in the past 2 years, and artificial intelligence is obviously the disruptor out there, right? And that really is bringing the ability for businesses of any size to innovate and to compete with corporations of any size, right? And both Intel and Dell are really focused on bringing that technology everywhere, right? So it's artificial intelligence, but where does that happen? I know that's a big term. There's a lot of, what does that mean? How do I really get started with AI? And I'll give you kind of 2 ways that this can go, just for people's education on what AI means. So one of the ways is on the back side of things, on the back end. There's a lot of AI being embedded into things like laptops, okay? That wasn't there a few years ago. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that laptops now can help self-diagnose repair. It's easier to deploy technology. It's easier to repair technology. This means that for companies that maybe have a small to no IT employees, those devices are easier to manage, okay, which is a big deal to everybody, right? That's on the backside. People mostly think about AI on the front end, right? With ChatGPT kind of being the first interaction a lot of people have had with what we think of artificial intelligence today. That technology is being embedded everywhere, right? I'll give you an example of how this works. So one example of how AI is used by small businesses. So Intel's worked with a bakery, a small business bakery, and what they did was they used generative AI to help with their social media campaigns, right? They used to have a company that they would contract with to send out their tweets, to set up their social media, to send out emailers, right? They can generate all that content now directly with the help of AI. So this is now freeing up their employees to focus on the core business. Right, so anytime that we can help move the focus from dealing with technology to dealing with your own business, and technology as a tool, that's a win for Intel. So that's really how we view technology helping democratize, bring technology to small businesses, enable you to do what you need to do, and technology as a tool, not a tool to deal with, a tool to help you get your job done.
I love that. So it's really, content creation, cost saving, as well as operational cost savings, right? Just big ticket stuff that's going to be less expensive and more productive. And it seems like we're shifting gears a lot, but it's not really shifting gears a lot. So today, this really surprised me, and I'm curious what you guys think. 1 in 5 small businesses are using some kind of cryptocurrency in their business, and I will be honest and say it was fuzzy for me what that means. So let's demystify that, like precisely what it is, and the most important thing to say about how small businesses are leveraging the technology to address key pain points and grow, and then if there's a quick example of an ROI.
Yeah, totally. So, that's what I'm here to do, to demystify, right? I know crypto is like a very, exotic concept for a lot of folks. So let me just explain. First, just to address your first point, we are seeing tremendous adoption. It's in the last couple of years, we've seen vertical adoption of crypto by businesses, and really specifically it's for payments, like businesses using crypto for payments, and specifically using stable coins. And so maybe I should just take a minute to explain what stable coins are for folks that don't know. So if you go back around 6 or 7 years, I work at Coinbase. We partnered with another company called Circle, and we took $1, a traditional US dollar, we put it in a bank, and then we issued a coin against it. So $1 in the bank, and then one coin against that, one-to-one backing. That coin is sitting on the blockchain. And now the value you unlock from doing that is that coin now is free from all of the middlemen, the payment networks, the fees, and it's now moving at internet speed. And so what I mean by that is you can send that dollar anywhere in the world for under 1 cent in fees in under 1 second. And you can literally, it's the same whether you're sending it to someone in Texas or you're sending it to someone in Tanzania. It takes the same amount of time, same amount of fees. That's huge for payments, right? So if you think about every business here is probably dealing with high payment acceptance fees. With having to, you probably hire global talent, you hire someone in Argentina and you need to pay them. So you're dealing with 2 or 3 days of doing the wire, waiting for it to settle. That person is waiting for their payments. It could be a vendor somewhere else. And so if you take your money and you make it fast, global, and free, that's an instant cost change. It changes your cost structure. It lets you serve more markets, serve more customers, source from different places in the world. And so as a result of that, this coin that we launched 6 or 7 years ago, along with Circle, we call it USDC or USD coin. There's also other coins like it out there. There's $300 billion now in just 6 years, a new product, $300 billion out there. And a lot of it is driven by businesses basically saying, look, this is better, faster money for me. I'm going to switch to using this.
And it's accessible for small businesses. I think that's maybe not always so relevant, so prevalent, so clear. So back to you, Bryon. There was all these startup programs. There's been tons of them, and big businesses helping small businesses. I'm curious about, Intel has been collaborating with Dell on Dell for Startups, which is free, but that's important to know. What's an example of a key return on investment from that program that comes to mind?
Sure, yeah. So I think a lot of people maybe haven't looked or don't realize that everybody in the room, from an Intel or Dell perspective, is a commercial enterprise, right? Of any size, that's what we consider a commercial versus a consumer customer. So we have resources available. You mentioned one of those programs. So Dell business partnerships really is the program that we have. And what that unlocks, so free to use for everybody. And what we work with is one of the biggest problems we see with technology adoption is, especially when we've talked lately about AI, is where do I start? Right? We hear about it a lot. It feels a lot like what we call boiling the ocean, right? We don't know where to really get a foothold into how can I adopt AI, what's realistic, how do I think of this? We don't want to use AI just for calling ourselves using AI, okay? So these programs that we put together are meant to be guides, right? So we have mentoring, we have webinars that talk about what is AI, how does that work, where can you start, right? So there's a lot of resources available, and by the way, these are the same resources available to large enterprises, right? So this is available to everybody to get a start. How can I think about AI? How can I use the technology that companies like Intel and Dell produce to make that happen? Along with commercial discounts, right? Everybody likes to save a little bit of money. If you're using commercial devices, and everybody in this room would qualify for that, you can save money and get expertise and get help from these large technology companies that a lot of people don't know is available, and it's out there for everybody to use. So I encourage people to go and check it out and make sure you're participating in those programs that the technology industry has available for any company.
And these are workshops, these are you have tech advisors, right? This is
a combination of online and in-person learning. We do workshops throughout the year. It really, if you have questions about how can I apply technology to make my business run better, to help the business with your business goals, in a better way, these programs are available for you for exactly this reason. Yeah,
and interesting connecting to Sid and Coinbase. Shopify, you guys have partnered with Shopify, talk about the little engine that became this gigantic e-commerce platform. And you're going to be enabling cryptocurrency payments with them. I guess I'm curious about, and I think the audience would be interested in, what's the benefit for small businesses beyond just enabling payments?
Yeah, I would say just even in that payment space, if you look at the Shopify partnership we recently announced, just how it works is
for any existing merchant that has a Shopify account that sells on Shopify, you can now also accept crypto payments. And so what that means is you're opening yourself up to a much larger audience, global, like anyone in the world who has basically internet and a phone can buy something in your store. And so it's also opening up to a newer generation of, younger, the kids love crypto, right? And now they have crypto and they're going to be shopping on these stores. And so we really think this makes every business more global and makes it easier for them to scale when they could set up a Shopify store and start accepting payments from now really anyone, anywhere in the world. And then even beyond Shopify, just generally when you start accepting payments, you change your cost structures, right? So instead of paying the 3% acceptance fee, you can now reinvest that. We spoke to a business owner recently who told us, it was pretty funny. He said that if I was to add up all of the payment fees that I pay, that would be my highest paid employee. I don't pay anyone on my payroll as much as I'm paying in these fees. And so you could, as a business owner, you could take that money and now reinvest it in your growth, right? And also you can hire global talent. There's just so much, when you think about growing your business, being able to do it with this new technology, I think it just really empowers and enables that.
And it feels like there's something happening where younger consumers, and as younger consumers become a bigger part of the buying public, there is that inclination, toward crypto that maybe old folks like myself, that's another story. Okay, so I'm curious about, in the time we have left, Bryon, just sort of from your view, what's one of the big challenges that you're seeing in the small business community that Intel and Dell are solving for?
Sure. So I think one of the biggest challenges is partially what I mentioned before. Where do we start? Right? How do I use technology? But really, beyond that, once people understand kind of what the new technologies are doing out there, how is that actually helping my business, right? And that's something that really everybody can just think about is, hey, there's a lot of new technology. It's great. Things evolve very quickly from what I would call science project to real application, right? And we saw that with the prevalence of things like generative AI, right? It started with people being able to generate pictures of cats doing weird things, right? Okay, great, that's funny, that's interesting, but it's not really practical, right? Well, that quickly evolved into using those same tools to now help generate a marketing campaign for my business. You can use the same technology, the same platform to do that. You can do it more easily, you can do it in a secure way, you can do it in a way that really helps your business grow quickly, right? It really helps you save time and save money. And that's really something that I think is front and center for Intel. Anytime that we can get technology out of the way, right? It's not about the technology, it's about your business. And that's laser focus that we have at Intel, right? Technology is a tool. It's not an end in itself, it is a tool for you all to use. And if we can make that tool as transparent as possible, then that's success for us.
Right, transparent and invisible, right? Isn't that some famous quote? It should be invisible technology.
Absolutely.
And okay, so quickly said, Coinbase launched Coinbase for Business this year. What kind of traction are you seeing from that program among small businesses?
Yeah, it's been so great. Whenever you launch a new business, you're seeing the way of product market fit, is there interest in it, it's a new technology. And in fact, we're getting more customers than we can even onboard, in a timely manner, because it's just the demand has been so strong. It's not just, we're seeing a mix of there's a bunch of obviously there's space startups, crypto startups, AI startups. There's a lot of the early adopters there. But what was most surprising to me was also to see just your traditional Main Street businesses, everyone from manufacturers, healthcare, they're all also exploring and onboarding. And so at least half of our customers are actually from that demographic, which surprised me. And actually, it goes to show how far the technology's come. I think we've had a lot of laws passed recently that legitimize crypto, that make it, that you're going to have the right accounting support, you're doing something, it's legitimate. It's also, people are seeing a very real pain point being solved around fees. I've talked about that a bunch.
So it's lowering fees. So if we have to say in two, what's the big benefit of the program, crypto business? Is it
lower payment fees? Honestly, I think that's the big lower payment fees and global footprint.
As businesses scale internationally. Okay, quick, fast answer. Best piece of advice for our small business audience that they can do easily, Bryon and then Sid, to drive business scale, whatever.
Yeah, one thing for everybody can take back, I guess, is use commercial equipment, right? There are, like I mentioned, programs out there. You can get a commercial grade laptop for your business. Anybody can get those, right? It is not just for large companies.
And it's embedded with
embedded with the latest tech, the most durable, the best that we have is available to you all. The same exact devices, technology that we have for businesses of any size is available to everybody in this room.
And Sid?
For me, well, I'll give you a quick, almost a hack, right? Like most people don't know this. I've talked about payments a lot, but like on Coinbase with this USDC coin that we have, we're able to give customers 4.1% rewards on their balances. And so, you know, most people, if you have a business bank, they have a minimum amount before they'll give you 1%, and then you have a minimum amount that you've got to reach. You've got lockups on CDs. Whereas we could just give you no limits, no minimums, 4.1% on your cash, and so that's pretty. It's a great opportunity. So that's something you can do very easily. Just
so a big savings on transaction, right?
Just your balances.
Your balances.
Every business stores cash, and this is a good way to make it work for you.
Oh my God, we're over. We could keep talking. Thank you so much to Bryon and Sid, and thank you, audience.